If she's not chasing you, she's falling out of love with you. Most guys think that relationships are about giving more. They're wrong. It's about holding your frame so she keeps earning you. In this video, I'm going to go over the biggest secret that most guys get wrong when it comes to managing long-term relationships. And because they get this wrong, oftentimes the girl falls out of love with them, she loses respect, and the relationship ends. And I'm going to do this by going over, number one, the core premise, why you need to start off with her chasing you. Number two, why she loses interest when you chase. Then how to maintain the dynamic long-term. And finally, the biggest mistake that men make when it comes to maintaining this dynamic in long-term relationships, the core premise. Attraction is built on pursuit. She must want you more than you want her, especially at the beginning of the relationship. Because if you enter that relationship with you wanting that relationship more than her, you already enter the relationship from a weaker position. Now, this comes down to two basic psychological traits. Firstly, general human psychology, which is the more you invest in something, the more you value that thing. The more effort and work you put into it, the more you respect that thing. And this directly applies to relationships. She has to be wanting the relationship more than you if she's going to value that relationship in the long term. And the second psychological principle is based on general female psychology, which is she wants to be dating higher than her in the social hierarchy. Women date across and up, men date across and down. If you are chasing her, if the man is putting more effort into pursuing that woman to get into a relationship, especially at the beginning. So what's that conveying to her? Just by your behavior and the way that you're approaching that, especially at the beginning of the relationship, it's conveying to her that you are chasing her. It's conveying to her that she has higher value than you. And you know what the sad thing is that sometimes women will enter that relationship, but it's not out of pure burning desire. It's out of convenience. And you don't want that, do you? You want burning desire. You want her to not be able to stop thinking about you. You want her to think that when she gets into a relationship with you, she's over the moon. She can't stop telling her friends about it. It's the only thing that she's ever wanted. And that is the dynamic that you want. So that is the core premise. And the most important part of this whole video is how to maintain that dynamic in a long-term relationship. A lot of guys put too much emphasis at the beginning of the relationship, when they're in the dating stage, when they're meeting women. That is the easy part. The hard part begins when you actually start dating that girl over the long term, because obviously you want to maintain that dynamic with her so that she maintains attraction to you. She maintains that sense of love towards you and that sense of respect in the long-term relationship. And I'm going to go over exactly how to do that. But first, I want to go over why she loses interest when you chase. The emotional system turns off when she's not investing in you. Girls want to have fun. We all know the famous song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Women obviously want to be respected by you. They want to be taken care of. They want that masculine energy. But what they don't want is they don't want to be bored. And a lot of the time, if they look at you and you just represent boredom because you maybe once emotionally stimulated her, but now you do not, she's going to fall out of love. And the reason this happens is because women will backwards rationalize based on the emotions that they're feeling. So if you give them emotional excitement, if there's a sense of adventure, they will backwards rationalize and they will come up with reasons of why they should be with you. If they look at you and you just represent boredom, they look at you and they think, ugh, he's not much fun, they're going to backwards rationalize as to why they shouldn't be with you, right? So you need to be providing that emotional stimulation. And one way to provide that emotional stimulation is that she keeps chasing you. She keeps on pursuing you, because that in itself is exciting. The definition of flirting is playing with the idea that you might not be with that person, but you might be with them as well. Does he love me? Does he not, right? This is the essence of desire, right? There has to be a little bit of uncertainty. Uncertainty creates excitement, and that's what women want. Next, polarity flips. She becomes the masculine energy. Women don't want this. Women want to fulfill their feminine role. They want to be led, they want to be pursued, they want to feel good, exciting, positive emotions. And as soon as they get put into the masculine role, their brain immediately thinks, something's off here, this is not what I feel comfortable with, and they lose interest. And finally, they just lose respect, right? If you are the man and you are not leading the relationship and she realizes that you are reacting more to her than she is to you, Naturally, what does that convey? Much like we covered in the beginning of this video, is that you have less value than her. She doesn't want that at any stage in the relationship. All right, so how to maintain this dynamic long term? Stay mission oriented. A lot of the reason of why she becomes attracted to you in the first place is because she sees how driven you are towards achieving the goals that you want to achieve. And it doesn't have to be a specific goal, but it has to be a goal of sorts, something that means something to you. In life, we assign value to what we think is valuable, right? There is no general thing that constitutes as value, but it has to be valuable to you. And you have to maintain that when you're in a relationship as well. She doesn't want to be the mission, right? She wants to join your mission. She wants to join you on your adventure. She wants to join you when you are moving like a steam train towards your goals, right? And this is one of the best ways to actually maintain that attraction in a long-term relationship for the long term. Next, reward her feminine energy. So when she invests, when she's extremely feminine, reward that. Don't overgive, but reward that, right? This is the type of behavior that we actually want to see in the relationship, and you need to give her positive feedback when she's actively contributing that within the relationship. Next one, and this is probably one of the hardest things to do in a long-term relationship. And the reason this is probably one of the hardest things to do is because if there's one person in the world who can just press your buttons and get you to flip, it's probably the girl that you are married to or your long-term girlfriend. You need to maintain emotional independence. So what do I mean by this? Is always stay grounded. You have to be the anchor in the sea of emotions. You have to be that grounded tree with deep roots when the wind is blowing. You cannot be massively swayed by her emotional turbulence. And the reason for this is because it goes back to what the core premise of this video is that you have to be more grounded than her. She has to be the one that is reacting more to you. You're the one who is more grounded. Now, this is definitely a long-term goal to achieve. It's easier said than done. This is one of the hardest Zen practices, which is to maintain that sense of groundedness when things are not going the way that you want them to, maybe emotionally in the relationship, but it's one of the most masculine traits that someone can have, which is just maintain that sense of groundedness. Next is stay unpredictable. You cannot become boring. As soon as you become boring, you are dead in the water. Again, women want to be stimulated emotionally. So what does this mean in practical terms? Occasionally, make time for adventures. Just out of the blue, go travel somewhere for the day. At other times, challenge her, right? Challenge her on her opinions. Don't be scared to convey the beliefs that you believe in, even if she doesn't, right? A lot of guys are not willing to do this because it creates a little pockets of friction in the moment, but over the long term, she respects you for that. Call out bad behavior. This is another way to stay unpredictable in a relationship. A lot of the time, men just tend to avoid tension. They tend to avoid friction. And maybe in the moment, that has a little bit of benefit to them because they avoid the fight or they avoid the little argument that they would have if they actually said something. But over the long term, what that does is it just creates a boring, monotonous, energetically draining or drained relationship. Women don't want that. Finally, what are the common mistakes that men make when implementing this? Now, the first one is overcorrection. And what does this look like in practical terms? It looks like someone that can become cold in the relationship. It means turning the cold shoulder. We don't necessarily want this. The dynamic that we want is someone who's warm, open, loving, but at the same time, they've got that masculine edge. There's a certain element of unpredictability. There's a certain element of you're going to call out her nonsense when she starts acting up. You will stay grounded and you will not necessarily punish her, but you're not scared to walk away and give her time and take away the presence that you normally give her when she's acting in a nice, calm, feminine manner. You're not scared to take away the attention that you normally give her. So you want to implement this, but you don't want to over implement it. Otherwise it comes across as cold, but then also try hard. Now I understand that at the beginning, obviously there's going to be a teething period. You're trying new types of behavior. Sometimes you might over implement, sometimes you might under implement, but just be aware that you don't want to turn cold. Next mistake is confusing control with leadership. Flirting, maintaining that sense of attraction between you and her. This is all a dance. This is not control. This is not forcing her to love you. It's a give and take. It's a back and forth. You want to give her the space to chase. You don't want to force her to follow you. People don't want to be forced into doing anything. They want to make the choices themselves. The next mistake is thinking that she'll remain loyal without any emotional tension. Thinking that love is unconditional. The only person that loves you unconditionally is your mother or your sister or your daughter. The woman that you are married to does not love you unconditionally. She loves what you represent. She loves how you make her feel. She doesn't love you, right? The more we can understand this, the more we can view this whole thing as a game, the more we can view ourselves as playable characters, and the less we become invested in the game and emotionally perturbed when things don't go our way. Ironically, this is the best frame to play from because you can manage your character. You are the puppet master of the situation. You are not the character itself. And finally, we're going to end off with the biggest mistake that I see that guys make when getting into a long-term relationship, and that is putting their feet up. And what do I mean by this? They think that they've done the hard yards and they've gotten the girl, and now she's in a relationship with her, and they think, I've done the hard work, I can put my feet up, she's just gonna love me for who I am. That's the biggest lie and the biggest mistake that most men make. A lot of the clients that I work with, or that I've worked with in the past, I help them get the girl. They understand what they need to do to get the girl. They have the skills. They're able to approach the girl. They're able to go on dates, and they're able to have multiple options with multiple high quality girls. And then they get into a relationship and they think, right, I've done the work. I don't have to carry on working on myself. And ironically, the girl ends up leaving them like clockwork every single time. When you get into a relationship with a girl, that's when the game starts. That means you need to look better, you need to get in better shape, you need to become more attractive, you need to become more charismatic, you need to up every single level of your life so that she can maintain that sense of attraction towards you. All right, with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Go and implement this, see the results. If you have any questions, fill in the form below, give me a call, I'll have a chat with you, and I will see you in the next video. Till next time, peace.